Hi guys, it's Monday, April 23rd. Today we are working on the area around the toilet, a large part of the wardrobe. We will be grouting the tiles in the kitchen and around the wood burner, and we'll also be doing some finishing touches around the bulkhead storage area. So again, quite a lot of changes today, and we'll also show you how we measured that part of the wardrobe, because that was quite difficult, and we found an easy solution. So stay tuned for that later in this video. Yuri is now working on the toilet area. So we have some underlayment sheets and some beams and quite a good support structure here. The toilet will be underneath this area, and we will have the water tank underneath there, and this will be the first part of the wardrobe. And this is all supported from here all the way back there, so that we can rest our feet on here and even sit on it if we want to. So yeah, that's what Yuri is doing right now. He already fixed this part in place, and now he's working on the second part of underlayment. He's just going to remove part of that because it's not a straight line, and then it will look much better. Earlier this morning I also finished the insulation here so that we can insert part of that ceiling again, and then we only have this part left. And that will look great, I think, again with an LED here that's above the sink, so that should look good. So yeah. It's now 1 o'clock, and Jordi has been working on this wardrobe and toilet area, and yeah, there are quite some changes now, as you can see. So this wall was already in, that just separates the entire wardrobe from top to bottom, and Jordi made another of those separating walls, but which is a little less tall, and you can see that's moving because it has not been screwed into place yet. So running up until that beam, we will have one piece of ply that runs up all the way to the ceiling, and that will be a cabinet that's approximately 15 centimeters deep, and we will have 3 shelves running up to the top. So we will have in a total of 4 small cabinets, and that will be our herb and spice cabinet. So Jordi made the base of those already, just some shelves with a border all the way around, and they will be installed here later. And Jordi also worked here on a shelf that has the same height as the countertop, so that would be open cabinets here. And he almost finished the part for the toilet. So as you can see here, we have an open gap. The water tank will slide in there. Then we have a cabinet on top that we can access during the day when the bed is in the sofa position. And then here, all the way until Jordi's leg there, we have the toilet area, and Jordi is now working on the final part that will sit on top of the structure there. And then we have a gap for the toilet drawer, and we also have an area where we can rest our feet, which we will cover in the same floor tiles as the ones that we have here. And yeah, it's looking great, and it's very sturdy. Jordi already sat on it, and it will easily hold our weight if we just step on it to climb on the bed. And it looks great. And Jordi will probably also finish making these shelves later today, so that means that this entire part can be painted. That will all be that color. And yeah, so we will just have open cabinets because due to the height of the mattress we just can't install doors, but it also I think it looks nice, and it gives easy access without extra difficulty of adding doors. So yeah. I just slid that water tank into place so you can see what it looks like. So we'll have a door that runs up from here until those green beams, and that will be on hinges, and it can just open this way. The water tank will slide there and turn and slide here, and that works perfectly. So yeah, happy that it's worked out this way. Jordi is now still working on the wardrobe and it's looking great, and I will show you what he has done later, but right now I am working on the grout between the tiles for the wood burner, and eventually also in the kitchen, but I won't be able to show you that because once you've made that mixture you have to use it within 60 minutes, and since I have to go downstairs for a while I can't really take the camera and the tripod as well, so I'll show you that here. I have never done this before, and I've watched a couple of YouTube videos and I think it's going to be fine, but yeah, I'm not too sure. We'll see. Five minutes ago I sold the spice racks that were hanging in our kitchen. They were bought from IKEA and they hold these super tiny spice jars. And we wanted to install them in our van, but they are 40 centimeters wide and that's just a tad too long for the kitchen here. So Jordi made his own version of these, and they're super simple. Here you can see what they will look like when they're in place. This area here and at the side will be covered with one sheet of ply, so that edge is straight, but the edges here are at a slight angle so that it perfectly fits that curved side of the white wall there. And then we have a total of 4 shelves, including the extended countertop there. So the final thing that we're doing today is showing how Jordi drew that perfectly curved line on the separating wall in the wardrobe. As you can see, the other walls in the wardrobe run up all the way to the ceiling, but since we want to put the wall straight up next to the support for the batteries, the wall cannot reach the ceiling because the van is curved inwards like this, so that means that this wall will be shorter. So we put this sheet of underlayment perpendicular to the wall, leaning against the structure for the batteries, and it's supposed to be completely up straight, but it's very difficult to determine that because the van is not on a flat surface, so yeah, it's always a bit of guesswork, but it seems to be straight. Once the piece of underlayment is in place, like we just showed, it's first time to measure the distance between the wall and the piece of underlayment. For us that was 15.8 centimeters. And you then pull the measurement up to find the first point that is at a shorter distance. So here we have the first point that is a little bit closer to the wall, or where the wall is a little bit at an angle, and there the distance is 15.7 centimeters. Meaning that there is a difference of 1 millimeter, and that means that there should be a 1 millimeter difference in width here from the bottom until there. Then a short distance above that we have 15.6, 15.5, 15.4, 3, 2, and so on. So eventually you will have all of these numbers that correspond to the difference in distance, and they also correspond to the difference in width that you will have along the separating wall. So at the bottom you will only take off nothing or a millimeter or two, and then once you go up and the angle increases, then you have to take off more. When measuring your plywood like this, it's clever to start with a piece of wood that has the perfect width at the base of the structure. If the wood doesn't have that width yet and it is too wide, then make sure that instead of taking off 1 or 3 or 5 millimeters, you take off an additional amount at the back to account for that difference. So, for example, if the piece of wood that you have is 45 centimeters wide, that you had cut in that size just to be safe or just because that's what you had left, but you want a width at the base on the floor of 40 centimeters, and you want to take off 1 millimeter there, 2 millimeters there, and 15 millimeters there, or whatever. Then make sure to add that extra 5 centimeters and draw that out here, because otherwise you will end up with a perfect curve here that fits the wall, but you will still have that excess 5 centimeters. So make sure to cut off everything at one edge so you will keep that straight edge, which looks much better. So just to show you what Jordi is doing, we started off with 15.8, then 15.7, 15.6. Each time he will take the difference between the base number and the new number. So 15.8 minus 15.5 is 3 millimeters, and so on. And that way he will get a perfect curve, which he uses a straight beam for to draw out. And as you can see, we have a curve on the ply already. Jordi finished drawing the entire line, and you can see that at the start the angle is much smaller than at the top. And at the top here, the exact distance is 15.8 centimeters, and that is the number that we drew down there at the start, because that's where the sheet of wood hit the side of the wall, basically. So if that is incorrect, and if you don't take off 15.8, or if the distance between here and there is suddenly very off, you know that you did something wrong. We will cut this wood tomorrow because it's getting dark already, and we've already packed up some stuff, but yeah, it's ready to be cut tomorrow. That's it for today, guys. We've been at it for a very long time today, but today was a very successful day. Even though we spent 4 hours with family just in the city, we did quite a lot, and we also sold some belongings, which is great because we're moving soon. We also scheduled a day for our van to go to the garage. We will have that done next week, Wednesday. That means that we will have to sleep in the van for a night here. We will take the car in early in the morning at 8 o'clock, and then see if there's any severe stuff that has to be fixed. Otherwise they will just switch out the tires for new ones and give it a good MOT. So just check everything over and make sure that we can just drive for a year without having to check it again. And we hope that there is nothing major, but we'll see. Thanks for watching again, and we will see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.